Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Megan. I'm so glad you're here. I am a homeschool mom to 6 kids, and we are getting ready to start our 10th homeschool year. So I have been really enjoying slowly starting the planning process of this upcoming school year. And in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys just how my brain works in planning out what we do for morning time. Some people do morning time in their homeschool, some people don't, some people do afternoon time, and that's totally okay. But my hope in sharing this today is that you will have something to glean from, whether or not you want to incorporate it in your homeschool or not. It doesn't mean that our homeschool is better than anybody else's, that we do this. You can take it or leave it, but I actually really enjoy starting our day with morning time. Some people call it morning basket. I have kind of adapted it to just morning time. It's our day starter. And while most of it is contained in a basket, it doesn't mean that it all has to stay there. What is morning time in our homeschool? Basically, it is our day starter. It is a time when me and our 6 children sit down together to really get our day started. And the way that I prefer to do this is through things like hymn study, our scripture study, our Bible time, read alouds, but they don't always happen during our morning time. Sometimes I do them during lunch or in the afternoon or even in the car. So just because I include it in our morning time video doesn't mean it necessarily all happens during morning time. So let's get started with what we are going to be using this year. I was really excited about purchasing Morning Time Volume 2 from Brighter Day Press this year at our homeschool conference. This is something that I've looked at several times because it uses a lot of the same things that we use during our morning time anyway, but it takes the work out of it for me. Like, I don't have to do anything really except just gather the supplies. It's all laid out for me in here. And so I am really excited about using this year. As you can see, it's this nice little grid layout, tells you exactly what to do each day. You don't have to do all of it. You could just do a portion of it. You don't have to do the art. You don't have to do the music. You don't even have to do the catechism. But what I like about it is that it's all right here, and I can choose to do whichever parts of it that I want to. So for our morning time this year, I am doing Volume 2, mainly because it is using a lot of the same read alouds that I was already going to be picking for this year anyway, and I just thought, you know, this is going to be great. So while she does have some read alouds in here outlined by week, there are some that we have swapped out for different ones that we're doing in our history and stuff like that. I will link the video I did on what our read alouds are for next year and how I choose them. I'll link it down in the description below if you're interested in that. But let's dive more into what we are going to be using during our morning time with this. Now, one thing that I've already done is there is a PDF file that goes along with this. This is going to cover things, like I said, the hymn that we're going to be studying, the verses, the passages we're going to be studying, along with poetry, which this is something else, like this is a great way. I like using these menus, by the way. I meant to mention that. But I was kind of getting stumped sometimes on choosing like which poems to do and stuff. Again, it's already done for me. And I was making the inserts myself, which I actually love to do, but I'm going to be homeschooling all 6 kids this year, so taking that end of the work out of it for me was great. I also went ahead and printed out the piece of art that we would be studying, and I put it on top of another one of the poems that we were going to be studying. So I already went ahead and stuffed these to be ready for the first week or two of our morning time. And I printed out the other ones for the first term. So this covers 3 different terms. And so I think this is going to be really great for this year. So we have our little menus all stuffed and ready. We're going to be studying the composer Vivaldi and just listening to some of his works. There are some picture books suggested in here to use. We are also going to be studying Renoir. I was like, wait, what artist is this? Renoir, the first term as well. And then the first read aloud we're going to do is A Cricket in Times Square. So what I do is I just take these, I actually keep them in here because this is also where I keep our Bible journals. And this is where I have them do any kind of copy work or definition of theological terms or things like that. I have them put that in there. Now, besides using the Morning Time as our main resource for Morning Basket, this will be the main meat of it, but we're also going to be using not Theology. I just haven't gotten the new one yet. The Wonderful, the one that is written by the same author, and it covers Psalms. And that is also used in our Morning Time. So that will live in this basket when it comes. So that goes in there. I also have our New City Catechism book that is used in Morning Time, but we have actually had this for quite some time. Our church actually gives these out to all the parents, and while we've used other catechism in the past, like Westminster Catechism, we are actually going to be using the New City Catechism because it is already included in Morning Time and I already had it. And it is a lot more, it's written more in like language of today, and it's easier for my younger children to grasp. So I went ahead and decided that, you know, because I'm going to be doing such a wide range of kids, we're going to go ahead and do the New City Catechism this year. It is reformed. If you are looking for a catechism, just so you know, it is a reformed viewpoint. The next resource that we are using in our morning basket is something just for fun. A friend of mine that I met through Instagram/YouTube, she actually recommended this book, and we have already read through a couple of these, but I thought this would be so fun to put in our morning basket just on a day when like we want to kind of start our day with something more lighthearted and silly. This is a really neat book. It's Mistakes That Worked: 40 Familiar Inventions and How They Came to Be. And it tells the quick story about different things, like how they were mistakes and they became well-known things that we use today. So for example, glass, bricks, slinkies, piggy banks. I think Coca-Cola is even in here. There's all kinds of fun things. And like I said, we've already read through a couple of them and my kids really, really enjoyed it. So this is going to live in our morning basket this year just as something a little more lighthearted and fun. The next thing that is going to be in our morning basket is the On Mission magazines. Now, I purchased 2 of these and we are going to use these very slowly throughout the year. My plan is to only use them 1, maybe 2 days a week. We're going to use them for a variety of reasons. Number 1, because missions is something that is near and dear to mine and my husband's heart, just because my husband's parents were actually full-time missionaries for many years. And so that is something that we really want our kids to have a really great understanding of, just other people's cultures, the work that missionaries do, all of those different things. And so these magazines are really beautiful. I actually did a dedicated video on these and I will link it in the description down below also. But my plan is also to use this as part of my youngest daughter's social studies, just to get a greater understanding of the world and different cultures and things like that. So we have the Guatemala one, And then we also have an Ireland one. And if we get through these before the end of the year and want to purchase more, there are some from all over the world. They are absolutely gorgeous. I have high hopes for these. And again, this is something that we will just do 1 to 2 days a week. And all it is, for example, we would just read the information here, maybe do some of the next steps things, or maybe read one of the suggested picture books. Now, if you're wondering, well, how much time does morning time take? It varies. Some days it might be quicker, like 15 minutes, and all we may focus on might be to sing through our hymn, to practice our verse, and to do our Bible study and read the scriptures for the day and read through the wonderful book that I mentioned. It might just be as simple as that, and then our read aloud would come later in the day. It might be an hour where we are reading through a couple of, a page spread of this along with all of our morning time. So it really just depends. It kind of depends on what all we have going on that day, how the day is flowing, because life can be really unpredictable sometimes, and so can kids. And that's okay. So that's my biggest advice with morning time and making that work, is to really be flexible with your morning time, knowing that you don't need to push every single time to get every single thing done. Make it an enjoyable experience. It is truly one of my favorite things that we do to start our days. And so now I have just one more thing that is going to live in this morning basket for now. And that is something that we have enjoyed in the past, and I'm excited about putting back in here for the upcoming school year, especially since we are studying early modern history, and a lot of our focus is not only going to be on world history, but a lot of focus is going to be on U.S. history and the founding of our country and things like that. And so with that is the heritage letters. We have, like I said, loved these in the past, and this is something that we are going to add back in. This is not something you do every day. You can make this whatever you want. There are some amazing resources on the Heritage Letter website where you can print off things to create a whole unit study, or you can use them like this, where if we're learning about Patrick Henry, for example, in history, then we have this letter as if it were written by Patrick Henry, even with his signature down here at the bottom, and a picture of Patrick Henry with some information on the back, as well as a picture, for example, of his "Give me liberty" or "Give me death" speech. So it is just a really great thing to add in to your homeschool, especially if you want kind of that added layer of making it more like interactive and kind of more hands-on and interactive. The other thing from them is the Heritage Adventure Letters, and we really enjoyed these this summer. We did one on Congaree National Park, and that was really cool because when we went on vacation this summer, we actually got to stop at Congaree National Park and see it in person, and so that was really, really cool. So these are just so neat. Here is another one. Again, it is a letter with that tells a story or gives background on like a national park or a state park or something in the United States, and maybe the person who established it or explored it or whatever. And so you get a picture of that person along with the information on the back, and then also usually an accompanying picture, whether the person was an artist or an actual picture of that national park or state park. So these are wonderful. I absolutely love them, like I said, and these come each month to our house, and they are going to live in their little envelopes inside our morning basket, and we can pull those out. And the way that we are going to do it this year is There's a couple of them this summer that we haven't done yet, like the Patrick Henry one. I opened it, but we haven't done it as a family yet. And so what I think I'm going to do is just stick it back in its envelope and put it in the morning basket when we are about to learn about Patrick Henry. And so that way it makes it like more relevant. But we aren't always going to line it up with what we're learning in history. Whatever comes in the mail is going in the basket, and it will just be something fun to learn about. And then if we do come to it in our history, we can reference back to, oh yeah, do you remember such and such? And so that will just really help to make it more relevant and stick in my kids' brains. So there you have it. That is our morning basket, how we do our morning time, how it works for us. If you do morning time or afternoon time or family get-together time, I don't know what you call it, but if you do that in your homeschool, please share down in the comments below. Share how you do it or resources that you've really enjoyed over the years. Ours doesn't ever look the same from year to year. It's just something that is fun, that you should have fun with, because it is your day starter. And so you can really make it what works for your family. And that's what I typically try to do is, like I said, it looks different from year to year. So this is what is in ours for next year. If you have any questions, make sure to ask them down below and let's get talking in the comments. I will see you guys on future videos. Thanks so much, guys, and have a blessed day.